Okay, welcome back to my 32 and 32. I'm now going to be covering the New York Islanders. And like I do with all my videos, I like to display the home jersey and the reverse retro. And I got to say, I am a huge fan of this jersey, especially when you have the sailor with the hockey stick. This is a throwback to like the mid 90s, late 90s. The logo and the jersey back then only lasted for a few seasons. Then they went back to their regular New York Islanders logo, which they have right now. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. I got to thinking, I don't know why it took them so long to bring this jersey back, but obviously different companies made jerseys during different eras, and now that they have the company that is making the jerseys now, I believe they have signed a long-term commitment. Maybe they'll start bringing back more throwbacks, which they started back in 2021. So, in my honest opinion, if they made a white jersey with that Islanders logo on it, with that one they see on your reverse retro screen, I'd be a huge fan of that. Again, so there's some jerseys that I'm not that impressed by, but this one just absolutely blows it out of the water. So when it came to the off season, they really didn't make any major signings. If anything, it's just been re-signings of players that they already had on their team. So I'll go take a look at the roster from last year, and we'll see who has re-signed, who has yet to resign, or who has gone elsewhere. So I'll take a look at the goaltending tandem. Just going to adjust the tablet here. So Ilya Sorokin, the main guy in net, is coming into his last year of his contract, but I'm sure that during the season, or if it gets pushed to the next off season, I'm sure he'll be looking to make bank and make it a long-term contract as well. Semyon Varlamov, his contract did expire this past year, but he has re-signed for 4 more seasons. So as long as Sorokin gets re-signed as well, that should be your goaltending tandem for many, many moons to come. So I'll take a look at their roster. So Sebastian Aho, not to be confused with the Sebastian Aho from Carolina, it has 1 more left to go on his contract. Josh Bailey is coming into the last year of his deal. Matthew Barzal, his contract did expire this past season, but he has re-signed on an 8-year, $9.15 million contract, so he'll be sticking around Long Island for quite some time. Samuel Bolduc, he could have re-signed in the offseason, but as I'm looking on the NHL website with the free agency tracker, his name is not pulled up on the screen, so he's one of those question marks that he could have re-signed. It just hasn't obviously been uploaded to the game. Casey Cizikas has 4 more years left to go on his contract. Cal Clutterbuck is coming into the last year of his contract. Noah Dobson has 2 more years left to go on his deal. Pierre Engvall was traded from the Toronto Maple Leafs to the Islanders last season, and he has signed a 7-year extension, so he'll be there for quite some time. And Hudson Fasching, again, just like Bolduc, he could have re-signed during this past season, or maybe he's gone elsewhere. But as of right now, it does not show on the site where he is at. Bo Horvat, probably the biggest acquisition the Islanders have gotten in a long time. He came over from the Vancouver Canucks last season, and he signed an 8-year, $8.5 million extension. So he'll be sticking around Long Island for quite some time. Their captain, Anders Lee, has 3 more years left to go on his contract. Matt Martin is coming into the last year of his deal. Scott Mayfield has re-signed on a 7-year contract as well, so he'll be there for quite some time. Brock Nelson has 2 more years left to go on his contract. Jean-Gabriel Pageau has 3 more years left to go on his deal. Kyle Palmieri has 2 more years left to go on his contract. Zach Parise is still a free agent, and I got a funny feeling with him being 38, 39 years old, this could potentially be a swan song with this upcoming season. It's very scarce for players to play in their 40s with the NHL, unless your name's Jaromir Jagr. Adam Palesh has 6 years left to go on his deal. Ryan Pulock has 7 years left to go on his contract. Alexander Romanov has 2 years left to go on his deal. Oliver Wahlstrom has re-signed on a 1-year contract, and that takes care of the roster from this season to go. So now let's go back to the main menu, pull up the team's logos, and discuss a little further. Just gonna pulled up their logos. Here we are. Straighten this out, so just bear with me. Okay, so last season they finished with a record of 42 wins, 31 regulation losses, and 9 overtime/shootout losses for 93 points. They did claim the first wild card spot, and they got back into the postseason after missing it in 2022. They ended up playing the Hurricanes, I do apologize, in the first round, lost in 6, so their stint in the playoffs was very short-lived. Coming into the 2023-2024 campaign, this is one of those teams that could either make it or break it. The only reason I say that is because I think the top 3 teams in that Metropolitan Division are going to be the Hurricanes, the Devils, and Rangers. It may not necessarily be in that order, but those 3 teams are still dominant, I do believe. And then after that, there's still 2 wildcard spots open. But like I've said in many of my videos in the past, I still think it's going to be a split between all the divisions with 4 teams each getting in. So that means that the Islanders would have to battle out like the Penguins, who I'm sure are trying to get back in the postseason. So that could be a tough one there. And then, so this is one of those teams where I can't necessarily make a prediction right away and think, yes, they should be in, or yes, or no, they will be out. But I think they'll be close. I think they'll be like a dogfight, honestly, to get into one of those 2 wildcard spots. So, again, for my prediction for the Islanders, it's up in the air. It's 50-50. They'll either make it or they won't. There's no gimmies with certain teams. So, I'll just leave that at that. As always, if you happen to like the hockey content that I do almost on the daily basis, feel free to hit that sub. It'll help this channel out a ton. And as always, thank you all for tuning in. And until next time, take care.